You wouldn't think that a found footage horror flick would be ripe for Broadway, but let the newly opened stage adaptation of Paranormal Activity prove you wrong. Written by Levi Holloway and directed by Felix Barrett, it's about a married couple who move into a new house in London, and as I'm sure you can guess, spooky stuff starts happening. Every cliche of the haunted house genre you can think of is here, including the medium who comes for a seance, but all that stuff is just the side dish. The main course of something like Paranormal Activity is the scares, and I'm happy to report that the scares here deliver. And it doesn't just have the jump scares that the movies were known for. It has plenty of those, but it also has several scenes that build to a pervasive, almost inevitable feeling of dread that's actually chilling. Holloway drops the found footage conceit of the films entirely and uses a pretty traditional theatrical form, which was definitely a smart move. It's not a perfect play. The writing, especially in the second act, feels a bit rushed, and the various hauntings don't dovetail at the end in a way that you really want them to, but the spectacle of the stagecraft and the scares make up for that. To say this is the scariest play I've ever seen on Broadway is not saying much. I could count the number of shows I've seen that have even tried to scare me on one hand. Broadway of the 60s and 70s did thrillers. And by the way, there is no difference between horror and thriller. They are the same genre because they use the same underlying engine of suspense. Broadway used to do thrillers all the time, in addition to other genres like light comedy that they just don't do anymore. Every play now is about the ideas first, and most of them are four characters in a room debating each other, and I'm so bored of that. Where's today's equivalent of Ira Levin or Neil Simon? They don't exist, and I'm sure some of you will say that's for the better. And if that's you, I applaud your good taste. But for my money, I just want to be entertained sometimes. I like being on the edge of my seat for a good thriller. I like leaving the theater with a smile on my face after a comedy. I'm grateful to Paranormal Activity just for being a genre play at all, but the fact that it's a sturdily constructed and very, very effective genre play is all the better. I paid $63 for my ticket and sat in row L of the mezzanine, seat 114.